Hey, hey, hey! Happy Valentine's Day to you! Nicole Severson here. Welcome to this week's video. Before we get started, I have another jam session for you. So if you're an 80s or 90s kid, you'll appreciate this. If not, just bear with me and we'll get started really soon. So here we go. I feel like I should have a lighter for this too. So I promise this steps into our video topic for today. Seeking for love. Alright, you got the gist of it. If you like that song, you can listen to it afterwards. Otherwise, I am using it because I woke up singing it this morning. But it's a really great, like, just that guttural feeling and overall feeling that I feel like our culture in the West really emphasizes and focuses on. And it just totally segues us into today for Valentine's Day. So today's full of love and romance and chocolate and wine and going out to dinner and spending time with those you love. For some of us, it's really romantic and magical and wonderful. For others, it's stressful and obligatory. And for others, it can be really lonely and depressing. And depending on whether or not you're in a relationship, it can really put a lot of pressure on you. It is just another day. So for those of you who are feeling a lot of pressure, really you can create Valentine's Day for yourself and others every day in the way that you act and treat people. But with all the, media and cultural expectations around today, it can be really stressful for people. So I wanted to focus on this idea today of the magical other. So this idea that, like in Disney, where you have Prince Charming or a princess, this beautiful, idealization of a perfect partner who magically comes along, saves and rescues you, and then you live happily ever after with a perfect family and, wealth and abundance and prosperity and unconditional love for your partner and happily ever after. And for most of us, it's just not the reality of what actually happens in life. Life is all about challenge and the beauty as well, but there's always both. So we've all been sold on this idea that this magical other person will come along and just make our life better. And it's not real. So let's talk about that today. And whether or not you're in a relationship, I want to give you 3 different things today that will help you reconnect to finding that, you want to know what love is, you want to feel what love is, and having that inside of yourself and getting to share that and reciprocate that with others, whether you're single or in a relationship. And then from that place, creating that abundant relationship with a partner that's mutual, instead of someone coming in to save you and make your life magically better, because that's not real. So 3 ways we're going to cover to reconnect with your love, yourself, your confidence, your core, so you're not placing that weight on your partner or your future partner or just people in general, so you're able to feel that love and know that love from the inside out. So let's get started. So the first is, first and foremost, is always I recommend to feel your feels. So see where you can forgive yourself for believing this crazy mad idea that there's some magical partner out there that's going to rescue you and save your life or your happiness or your whatever it is, fill in the blank. And forgive yourself because you didn't know any better. So we have been sold from a very young age. It's a conditioning. It is a brainwashing of sorts, which, you know, it's fun and it's entertaining, but in reality, it's just not how things work. And so forgive yourself and let go into knowing that it's okay that, you know, this fantasy, this idealization of a perfect partner is, you know, we all want that. We all want that unconditional loving parent, and maybe some of us had that when we were a kid, maybe, you know, most of us didn't, and that translates into our current relationships. So whether it was through Disney or maybe you didn't have that unconditional mirroring and parenting as a kid, we all seek for that because it's a connection. We all are human and we want to have that feeling of connection and unconditional love. So forgive yourself. If you had a parent or a partner who you felt abandoned by, this is a huge piece in learning how to let go of resentment and seeing how it served you to wake up from this delusion earlier. So in that pain, instead of getting hooked into it and suppressing it, to allow that pain to come forward and bring a greater awareness to the situation and seeing how that situation helps you to self-soothe and come back into connecting with love within yourself instead of searching for it from others. So not to say that there's not a lot of like therapy and psychology that goes around this, but to start, just see if you can notice where you do this externally. So it might not even be with a partner. It might be with money. It might be a job. It might be buying a new car or a new house or wherever that external pleasure that we're seeking, they come and go. So, you know, even if you buy a new car, eventually it's going to be old and it won't be as exciting. And seeing where we place our love and acceptance and validation outside of ourselves and start to turn that inward, so we're learning how to love from the inside out. So the second thing is to caretake yourself. So this kind of adds into the forgiveness, but this is where you really are the keeper and the caretaker of your soul and your heart. And while we are human and we're here for connection and conditioning with love to take care of and nurture each other, it's really our life journey to learn how to do this from the inside out as well. So you have both. And this self-care is really to notice where you stop taking care of yourself. So whether it's placing your happiness on this magical other person, so I'll only be happy if and when this person is in my life. I'll only be happy if my partner, you know, buys me presents or whatever for Valentine's Day, and if they don't, then, you know, it's going to be an issue. And or when I get this job, my life will be happy. When I get this money, I'll finally be able to be happy. Whatever it is, just notice where you're placing your happiness and sense of love and well-being outside of yourself, because these external conditions will always change. And the more we're able to connect with ourselves and have that steadiness and that confidence that we can love ourselves no matter what, the easier the transitions in the ride will be when we don't have those things. So some ways for self-care to really embody this feeling of like sensuality and love. I think a great way is whenever you walk by a mirror, you can give yourself a little wink, or you can take yourself, you know, if you're a girl or a guy going to the spa for a day and just chilling out, you can buy yourself flowers. You can, if you're a dude, maybe buy yourself a new Nintendo game or a cookbook or just a great book. But just finding different ways where you can romanticize yourself. So self-care can look in like so many different ways, but especially if you're feeling like you don't have that like flirty charisma thing going on, whether or not you're single, start to kind of do these things for yourself. You can take yourself on a date. Like I said, you could buy yourself flowers or maybe like a new gift, and really treat it how you would treat someone you're first dating. Like when you're really excited about somebody and all you can think about are like ways that you want to surprise them and bring them gifts. Do this for yourself. The more you do it for yourself, the more whoever your friends, your partners, or just whoever you bring into your life will do it for you, I promise. So practice that. And moving on to number 3 is to focus on what you want to create. I know I've mentioned this before, but this applies to our relationships as well. So instead of, if you're single, you're like, oh, it's Valentine's Day again, and I'm single again, or even if you're in a relationship and you're like, I know this person isn't gonna, surprise me or set up a date or whatever it is, focus on rather what you want to create. So if you're wanting to create love and connection, notice where you can create those things. So if you're in a partnership and you communicate, hey, I really would love to spend this evening with you and have it be romantic, and not putting pressure on it, but saying how can we both do something that we'd like, spend time together that doesn't feel like an obligation, and bringing that sense of joy back into the action of this day. And I recommend that for every day, not just Valentine's Day, but looking at that. And then if you're single, looking at what are the attributes that I want in a partner, and write down all the good qualities, and then see where you already possess those qualities in yourself. So all the things that you tend to write down are usually things that we really are not owning within ourselves. And then surround yourself with people you love. So even if it's just one friend, take them out on a date and spoil them and surprise them, or take your grandma or your parents out to dinner and spoil them, and start to focus on what you want to create instead of what you don't have. This is amazing for any areas of your life that you want to build up and create new ways of being, and especially for relationships, this is wonderful as well. So let's go through that again. So the first is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for believing this crazy mad idea that there's some magical other, whether it's actual relationship or work or money or new car or new house or job or whatever, that's going to rescue you and make you happy. Forgive yourself because that's what you've been taught and you didn't know. The second is to romanticize yourself, self-care. Start to flirt with yourself. Take yourself on a date. Buy yourself a gift. Bring back that joy and that sense of surprise and exploration that you want with yourself and others, and start to do it for yourself, and just see how this shifts throughout the next couple days, the next couple weeks, if you really practice this. And the third is to focus on what you want to create. So even with the focusing or the self-care, if you're starting to notice ways where you can really surprise yourself or fulfill, whether it's even going and sitting in the sun for 20 minutes, just this little things that bring you joy, focus on doing more of those. Focus on what you want to create. If you don't have a partner, or even if you do have a partner and you want to focus on creating, a new way of being in that partnership, write down the things that you really truly want in a relationship and start to see how you can own those things and then also share those with your partner. So again, there is no magical other. I'm sorry, there's not just you. You are your own magical other. And the more we can tap into this is a lot of yoga philosophy as well, but this really helps you to build your sense of self, your confidence, and your sense of self-care and love. And I promise if you practice these 3 things and broaden your awareness and really start to focus on the things that bring you bliss, follow your bliss, and there will be challenges. I'm not into positive thinking. I think that makes people feel worse. So, if you really have some shit hitting the fan and you feel like crap, feel it and don't wallow in it, but allow yourself to feel it, but also allow yourself to broaden your awareness and look at what you can learn from the situation. I've been really digging with this the last couple weeks, of truly looking at what you can learn from a situation instead of either the wrongdoing or, just the technicalities of the situation, to look at what you can learn and then keep loving on yourself. And whatever you're doing this evening for Valentine's Day, whether or not you're celebrating today or maybe later this week, I hope it's just full of joy and love. And if you're not feeling great, then feel the feels, find a great friend to talk with, or a mentor or coach or therapist, and get it out. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions or want to know more, comment below. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I'll see you next week.